allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll call this meeting of the Henry County Board of Supervisors on July 17, 2025 to order. First thing is to approve the agenda. Motion to approve.
I make motion to approve the
We
agenda.
have a motion. Is there a second?
Yes, sir.
Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. We have the July 10th, 2025 minutes. Motion to approve them.
I motion to approve the minutes from July 10th.
Is there a second?
Yes, sir.
Discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. We now have a Zoom meeting with Mississippi Valley Workforce Development. And Chad, you're the person behind this one.
Can you bring that up on your screen there, Steve?
All right.
We originally thought it might be closer to the 9:30 mark, so.
Do you have to call her or you just, or,
She was on, so.
she was there, wasn't she?
She's still there.
Still there?
Yep, she's still there. She just muted and got her video off. Right up there in the chat. Say hello. We're here.
Hey, Miranda, Chad White here. Okay, would you be able to start now? So, I'll call Jim as well. Yep. She thought the other party was gonna be there, so.
Randy, can you hear us?
Turn her laptop on.
Yeah. Yes, just trying to get the volume turned up here. I'm at 100%.
Get your laptop hooked up to that TV stuff. You should be able to go into your Microsoft settings and change the sound to come out of that.
Yeah, I mean, on the screen. Okay, Miranda, can you hear?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Do your sound to Sony TV.
Okay, anything different?
I can hear you.
See, it's still coming through there.
You don't want to have a voice. Let's go back to this.
Proceed, Miranda, on explanation of what's going on.
Sure. So the Mississippi Valley Workforce Board and all of the other boards in the state took a significant funding cut this program year.
So one of the boards, South Central, actually took a big enough cut that they're going to be unable to sustain operations. So there's a potential merger being looked at between South Central, Mississippi Valley, and Northeast workforce boards to merge to become a larger area so that we can sustain operations and be able to complete all of the requirements that we're required to do under the federal legislation. South Central will be unable to continue after October 1st. Their current staff have agreed to stay on until then, but as of October 1st, they would be unable to continue. So if a merger does not occur, South Central would go back to the state and then would be ran by Iowa Workforce Development instead of having the local control. So the three boards are looking at merging to increase administrative efficiencies, kind of to maximize the board staff that are already in place. And the goal would be to continue services through the Iowa Work Centers to job seekers and businesses as they're currently being delivered. It really just would be maximizing that administrative capacity and the dollars that are coming into our local area, and to prepare for future funding cuts, because we are pretty certain that next year we will take another significant cut up to 25%. And should that happen, it would be very difficult, if almost impossible, for Mississippi Valley and Northeast as well to continue independently. So a larger merger would allow us to maximize resources and kind of plan and structure for long-term local control, because if the boards are unable to perform their required functions, there is the chance that the state could come in and take over the boards, which would mean that there would no longer be any local input in the services that are provided, and everything would be basically delivered by Iowa Workforce Development. This is the 30,000 feet view. I don't know what aspects you'd like some more details on, or.
Okay. I had asked Steve, or Jim Irwin, specifically what the differences in obligations to each member county would be. Would it be additional financial requirements, or would there be less financial requirements? And he did not think there would be any changes to the individual member counties. Can you unpack that and confirm or refute that at all?
Right, I mean so if the merger were to move forward, the 28E agreement or the CEO shared liability agreement, it's the same document, would have to be worked out between all of the new counties. And it is possible to keep it the current way that it is, which would mean even distribution of financial liability, or they could also choose to have the liability based on population in counties. So smaller counties obviously would have a lower liability, and the larger counties would pick up more of that risk. But that would be a decision made by the CEOs at that first organizing meeting.
Maybe, this is Steve Dietrich, right? I'm a little confused here. You said you had a county that dropped out or wanted to reduce their participation? Is that?
So South Central is 14 counties
Right.
In kind of the central part of the state. And their funding was reduced so much this year that they can't afford to maintain their 2 board staff to be able to fulfill all of the functions that they're required to do. So since they're unable to keep those staff, they can't perform the functions, which means they can't do the oversight, which means the state would come in and take over their 14 counties. And of course, they don't want their local area to go back to the state. They would prefer it to still be locally ran with local input.
You want to admit him?
And as far as our 8 counties in Mississippi Valley, 6 of the 8 have voted yes to merge. And we have this meeting today, and then we have a meeting on Monday with Muscatine County, and that would wrap up our county's votes on whether they want to merge or not. So another aspect of this is that 100% of the CEOs from all local areas have to agree to merge. If one county says no, it holds up the whole process.
Jim, welcome to our meeting here. I asked Miranda to just kind of unpack the whole scenario, what's going on. I just asked her to either confirm or refute the responsibilities of each member county as far as financially and all that, how all that works out. So can you go over that stuff?
Yeah, so I apologize. I thought we were meeting I thought it was at 9:30 this morning.
Well,
so,
it was, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, yeah, no problem. Yeah, so, I think, yes, I'm guessing, we will have to do a 28D agreement, also with all the counties involved with the merger, so it'd be our 8 counties, and then whatever counties are, that we merge with. And we can write that up to whatever it is. Financially, we would have similar, responsibilities as we do now. But, in my opinion, we wouldn't have likely any more obligation of what our responsibilities, what we would be held accountable to. And we've been very fortunate in our workforce area, with Miranda and our team, that we have had no issues at all with financial situations or financial issues, to the fact that, of dollars being spent inappropriately. And that hasn't really occurred. There's one workforce area that has had some issues with that, but they're not part of this merger at this point right now. And I would not see that going forward with with our leadership. As you know, Chad, that Miranda has kind of led the state and the whole discussion when it comes to workforce development and what we do, right? I mean, because what we do is much different than what IWD, Iowa Workforce Development, workforce development is all about unemployment benefits and those types of issues. Ours is more training of individuals and working with employers for training opportunities for their employees, so that those employees that work for them can move up in their company, and then also having trainings available for new individuals coming into their company. So it really comes down to being very involved and having those opportunities available for our employers.
We talked, and you'd mentioned a little bit about population-based financial involvement from each of the counties. Obviously, being a smaller county and receiving less of the services rendered and everything like that seems to be more attractive to me personally, anyway, than say a Scott County or a Clinton County or one of the more heavily populated counties that are absorbing more of the services and everything. What's the appetite of the other smaller counties?
Everybody, Jackson County is on board, Lee County is on board, Wapello, Louisa County, Louisa County's on board, and then Scott and Clinton have also joined. So it was just so far, and Muscatine's now on board also, but they're also one of the larger ones. So we still have to meet. We still have to just kind of we wanted to finalize and just have the conversation with you guys with Henry County, and then we have Des Moines County still has to vote.
They voted.
They did vote. Okay, I did not know that they had voted. Okay, so, but they are all the other counties, South Central, the 14 counties in their area have all voted to merge, and they're all the smaller counties, but they're also the one that's in the situation that is creating this issue, and then the 20 counties that are associated with Northeast, most of the I think over half the counties have already voted, but most of the counties have verbally committed, but they have not had the official vote. And again, they all realize that because of the financial changes with the Department of Labor and what we've experienced over the last 2 years, with basically 2 years of 18% reduction in Department of Labor funds coming to the state of Iowa, that's reduced ours by 18% the last 2 years, and likely that will be reduced again next year. Which we've in our area, Mississippi Valley Workforce Development area, we've taken the approach that we've hired our own fiscal person to become our own fiscal agent. So that relieves, we were spending roughly $70,000 to $80,000 a year the last few years on fiscal agent responsibilities, and we were only getting those items done. I mean, they were only doing the fiscal stuff. Where we have our own fiscal person, that we'll have 40 hours a week, to be able to help do some other stuff. If we go through this merger process, though, that fiscal person that we've hired will now become the fiscal agent for the entire area. So that generates, South Central, I think, spent about $60,000. I think the number was last year on fiscal agent, and I don't know what Northeast has spent. So again, those are additional dollars that will become available to help make us more of a more solid and more fiscal responsible entity. So.
Any questions, Steve?
Yeah, I think just one question. Again, this is Steve Dietrich. So we talked about the
Yep.
difference here a little bit between the Iowa Workforce Group and what we do here with Mississippi Valley. Can you give me a little better breakdown on the difference between the two? Because I think you said something more about the development doesn't really involve as much training.
Yeah, so, Iowa Workforce Development, IWD, they handle all, when everybody thinks about, we get confused quite often. When people think about workforce development, many times they're talking about unemployment benefits. So that's IWD's, that's their bread and butter. That's over 50% of their position is, probably more than 50% is that process of when somebody gets late, when they go through the layoff process, somebody gets laid off, or they get fired, or whatnot, going through that. That's Iowa Workforce Development and unemployment benefits. What Mississippi Valley Workforce Development does, and all of our local workforce development, we are about being there for if there's a layoff and say, I'm trying to think, I know somebody just did a layoff. Well, for instance, when Iowa Wesleyan announced that they were closing, they had notified Iowa Workforce Development. Iowa Workforce Development notified Mississippi Valley Workforce Development workforce area. So what we would have staff that showed up there, set up meetings to meet with individuals. So that was a combination of Iowa Workforce Development, helping those individuals get signed up for unemployment benefits, but it was also an opportunity for Mississippi Valley Workforce Development to go in there with our staff to set up the meetings to try to find them work in other locations, within Mount Pleasant, within Henry County, within the area, within the region. That's the work that we do. And the other work that we do is we put on, we have funds available for trainings for individuals. I know up here in Clinton County, the county recording did trainings with their staff, and there was dollars available for them to go through Mississippi Valley that basically reduced the cost to help train staff, their staff, so then that staff was able to move up and make changes and move up within their own company. That's the type of things that we do. So we work with employers, and we also work with employees. I mean, we have funds available. Mississippi Valley has funding available for, trying to help somebody get to a job. We can help, fix a car or get bus passes or whatnot.
We can provide tuition assistance and on-the-job training and paid opportunities for people to get some skills so that they can enter the workforce or, lead to a more self-sufficiency wage so we can reduce their reliance on public assistance programs.
And so Iowa Workforce Development doesn't do any of that?
They do unemployment. That's like
That's
Jim
50%, yeah.
said. It's more, I'd say it's more like 80% of what Iowa Workforce Development does. And then another key difference, right? Iowa Workforce Development is a state agency ran by the state. Mississippi Valley Workforce Board is a local 19-member board that's made up of business representatives from the communities in which we're serving. So they're, directly, more directly relatable to the communities in which we serve and the job seekers and the needs of our area.
Good pickup, Miranda, from where Jim left off there and everything. Mark, do you have any questions or anything?
No, I really don't. I've been through these other mergers we've had, so I have a good understanding of it, so.
Do we have any idea, potentially of what that cost is compared to where we're at today, Miranda? On a
Which
county-
cost?
County to county basis membership?
As far as the liability?
Well, yeah, total, yeah.
Or the
Association?
So right now, the CEO shared liability right now for Mississippi Valley says that the liability is split evenly across the 8 counties. I can't tell you what it would look like because that is truly a CEO decision that they would decide as a group. So I don't have any control over how that conversation goes.
Okay, but
So
then it's
if-
gonna go back to the group to decide whether or not it would be population based, right?
Right, yes.
And like I said before, I like the idea of population based.
I agree. I think it makes the most sense.
Versus, I guess I'm saying Scott County has a lot of people, they need to handle that obligation if they're for their people, and Clinton County, all the counties, need to pay their own type thing, so.
Right.
So will you explain what we are actually voting on as far as becoming, voting for the merge or against the merger, happening? Just unpack that in a Cliff Notes version.
Right, so the vote would be that you're voting yes to merge, so that we can continue the process. We have to have a letter with all of the local areas signed by all the counties that are in agreement to merge to the state by August 18th, and then the State Workforce Development Board has to approve it on August 25th. And so from there, the merger with South Central would take place October 1st. So in the month of September sometime, all of those new counties would have to get together and work out the details of that CEO shared liability agreement. And then of course, that agreement has to go back to all of the county boards as well to get their approval on.
So in essence, if my understanding is right, if Hendrick County were to vote that we did not support the merge, that would kibosh the whole plan, correct?
Correct.
Any
That's
other?
correct, Chad.
I'm sorry, Jim, what'd you say?
I said that was correct.
Okay. And that, the population fees and everything would be determined by the CEOs, which I'm a member of there at a board meeting. And if I chose to go with that with the condition that it would be population based, that would be a majority call at that meeting?
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely. That would be-
everybody would have, yeah.
And I would guess, Chad, that that's how it's gonna go because, the workforce areas, the workforce centers are, for our area are the Quad Cities, are in Davenport. We have one in Davenport and one in Burlington. I'm trying to think, where is it in Ottumwa? Is there one for South Central, is it in Ottumwa and where else?
Ottumwa and Marshalltown.
In Marshalltown, right. So my guess is those 14 counties, I have Jason Roundbush is the Clio for South Central. I think they're currently on the population based, where we are not currently. It's divided amongst the 8 of us evenly. We did not put that in place when we first did that. And I think just because of when we were putting everything together, I think I'm not gonna say it was an oversight, but no, it just was something that we didn't, really discuss. I think everybody would be fine with that, and the ones that aren't would be Scott County would be the one, and I don't know who else would vote against that. I think Scott County would, but they by far have they by far, for our current 8 counties, they have the most activity and the most bang for the buck happens actually in Scott County. It's the Danforth Center is very active for them. So I would foresee that to be part of it. But
And I think to support that conversation too, we would be able to provide the data on how many people were served in each county to support that approach. And I think, I agree that Scott County is probably gonna balk at it, but when they see the numbers that the majority of the people we serve actually are coming from Scott County, I don't know how they could, not.
Kind of takes the wind out of the sail in my mind, so.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to be database and have some metrics to take a look at that to see where we're at. Obviously, we're interested, but I think we need to be sure that we have the metrics to understand from a county perspective, so it's not all, everybody looks at it independently. It should be more comprehensive so that we have that database from all of the counties in our district then.
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we will discuss this and come to a vote whether we want to participate or not. And Jim and Miranda, I guess we can be in touch that way.
Yep. No, I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. I apologize. I was driving to my meeting this morning. We had a 10 o'clock meeting this morning at a fair, so I'm sitting in my vehicle right now, and so I apologize. I thought we were meeting at 9:30, so
No,
I got your text message. I was just pulling into the grass, and I was like, oh my gosh. So here we go. But
yeah, it was a little sooner than what we had originally thought, but that's the way the bird flies.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, no, that's fine. That's no problem at all. So, well, again, appreciate it. I really hope that you guys would vote to move forward with the merger. And probably the main reason, I just say this, the main reason I support this is I've seen what's happened in western Iowa, Iowa Plains. Our 8 counties serve more people in our 8 counties than the state of Iowa is serving in the 42, is it 42 counties or 44 counties, Miranda? I'm drawing a
Something
blank.
like that.
Something like
Close
that. Yeah, I think it's 42 counties. We serve more in our 8 counties through our workforce development than the state of Iowa took over that, because those counties, because of the support, because they were in a similar situation, the financial, that was 3 workforce areas combined to make Iowa Plains. There was not enough financial resources for them to do the job, as administratively correctly, and they're just not getting the numbers. They're not getting the services to the people. They've lost touch with the locals. I don't know if Miranda, I'm assuming Miranda, but if not, Miranda and I have talked, and Jason, and even Northeast, is we would likely, if this goes through with either the 2 of us or the 3 workforce areas that are looking to merge, we would likely create subcommittees. That would be our current 8 counties would be a subcommittee. The former South Central would be a subcommittee, and the former Northeast a subcommittee, to be able to make sure that we are having our local voice, making sure that we are getting the services, that we're not losing out on certain, or taking on these additional 14 counties or the additional 34 counties. I got a fly flying around me, so I talk with my hands anyways, and now I got a fly blowing in my face. Anyways, we don't want to lose services, right? We do not want that to happen, and we can design we can write the 28E, the agreement between the counties, to be, again, based on population and based on, what's happening now. I actually think we can help those other areas grow and get better services to their individuals because of our administrative staff is very good at what they do. That we should be able to help them in their endeavors also. Like I said, I don't want the state of Iowa to take it over. They've done a poor job. For instance, Governor Reynolds is the Clio of Iowa Plains. That's how it rolled out. That's how it has to be. I wonder how much time she puts into it, with everything else she has going on. So, so I'm hoping to get your support to move forward with this and we can show, and get you more involved. So thank you very much.
Well, I see that fly likes your nose for some reason there, and I've also shared with the other two men here that Mississippi Valley has been kind of thought of as maybe the spear point or a leading template for the rest of the Iowa people to maybe pattern off of and in some check follow suit with and with under you guys' leadership, because I don't take a hugely active part in that, as you well know. That is not my forte, so to speak, but we appreciate what you do. So you guys do.
All right, good. Thank you for joining our meeting today, and we'll bring this up for our discussion, and Chad will let you know what happens.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Take care.
So we will need to put that on our agenda for next week for a vote on whether we join with this merger of the Mississippi Valley workforce with the other two districts.
That'd be great, yes. I'm in agreement.
And Chad, and Steve, I gather you'd like to have some more data on.
I'd like to see what they're talking about from a data perspective, they're talking about, the state versus counties and see where we're at, county to county. Yeah, that'd be
All
great.
right.
Obviously, I mean, you have the Scott counties. I mean,
Yeah,
the population base is being utilized way up there, or the services are being utilized up there at a disproportionate.
so that's why our population base is good, but it'd be nice to see those numbers so we can understand when they come up with a proportion or a percentage, that it's something we're in agreement with.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Moving on, I need to backtrack one portion. We did have the minutes, the August minutes from July 14th.
Yes.
We did not vote on them.
July 3rd and 10th.
It's the
Oh, the 14th for the
14th.
public, or for our HR.
Our HR meeting.
Yes.
I would like to take this opportunity to go ahead and vote on that as a motion to approve those meetings, that minutes of July 14th.
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve July 3 and July 14 board minutes meetings.
I'll second that.
All right. Any discussion?
No.
If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none. Moving on, we are now to the point of a public hearing for a open burn ordinance. I'll entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
Make a motion to go into public hearing to discuss the burn ordinance.
Is there a second?
Yes, sir.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are now in public hearing. We are here to hear the public comments on the burn ordinance.
Y'all read it or had an opportunity to see it?
There's a few
There's
more
some copies
copies right
here as
there.
well. I think we passed some out last time. Bob, I know you had one. I don't know, Leland, if you've had a chance to read it through, but I think you'll see that there are some significant differences, and I was hoping Walt would be here to go through that with us, but there are some significant differences from where we started to where we are today, and I think that really includes the feedback that we have seen from a number of people. Roger, you have anything to say? We did talk about that, and you had some concerns, so
Well,
you,
yeah, read your guard, and I think the purpose I was told was the fact that this is to try to reduce the unnecessary fire calls as such, particularly from the volunteer departments, or eliminate those, and particularly eliminate them during red flag days and burn ban days. So, and I don't have any problem with the way it was written. My concern was that on the first one, the pendulum was way over to the left. I think we're maybe a little too far to the right, if you want to put that. So I guess my question is where does one find the information that we're in a burn ban or a red flag day? That needs to be such that you can either go to the website or somewhere and find that. And who to notify if you're gonna do an open burn. And I guess there needs to be education on that, on what is an open burn and when you need to call and what happens maybe if you don't. But I think that the education part of it is part of it. And I guess what I was told originally, which prompted a lot of this, is the ditch burning and CRP burning that gets out of control. So the recreational fire, the fire pits and those things has kind of been eliminated out of that. So I guess I would just hope that that the ordinance, that we address those two issues and don't try to penalize everybody else that's out here not necessarily creating a big problem. And other than that, why, I appreciate and thank you for your efforts.
Yeah, I think we'd agree that there's some education that needs to go with this. Obviously, we'll do our very best, but one of those things obviously is to call the sheriff's office to make sure that they know that you're gonna do an open burn like CRP, for example. And when you call there, obviously, they're gonna tell you if there's a red flag warning. And so that would say, stop, don't do it until we hear from you otherwise. The other thing is, when you're done with that burn, you need to call them as well to let them know it's done, so that it's not out of control and way beyond where the scope was originally intended to be, because we all know that CRP, one of the main ways to manage that is to do a burn, and that's promoted by the FSA, so a lot of us do that, and we're familiar with it, but yeah, I think there's some education that needs to go on there, and we'll try to do our best to help facilitate that.
Yeah, and I guess, well, yeah, we had an incident down there which got out of control because one guy tried to burn 20-some acres of CRP, which was fine, except the wind was in the wrong way and there was only one person. And he had a 300, 400 foot fire front before he got done. As such, so, and that, I don't know if that was in a burn ban or not, but yeah, they can get out of control. So there needs to be education, I think, on if you're gonna go burn your CRP or your road ditch, make sure you got enough equipment or people to keep it where it ought to be. And other than that, the rest of that, I think, is fine and common sense. You know, do your fire rings and your little fires and whatever.
Yeah, one of the things we could do is, Rich and I are familiar with the FSA folks. We can talk to them a little bit to help make sure that they are more in communication, because they know who's got contracts, obviously, and make sure that they understand. We know that CRP needs to be burned, but we need to also make sure that they're aware of what they need to do, like back burning and calling 911, or the sheriff's office rather, and those types of things. So we can help facilitate through that, and maybe there's something. I'll reach out to the extension office as well, the Iowa State Extension Office, and see if there's anything they can do to help us.
Yeah, I think the key word here is, like you said, the mode of transmission of when we have a burn ban. That's the main thing. Just, if they're gonna have a burn ban, put it on the radio, whatever. We've got the system here in Henry County where the alerts come over your cell phones. Go ahead and put it through the alerts from the cell phone. I'm sure the dispatch could do that. And key word I've said all along this thing is common sense.
Is that something you can do on your app, Rich? Put a
We could.
notice out there?
Yep,
Common
absolutely.
sense?
Yep.
Hey,
I don't know if common sense could be put on our app, but anytime there's a red flag warning, for example, we could do it through our emergency notification system.
Okay.
And that would go out to like everybody that's signed up to receive those notices.
Okay.
And our app would be the same way, everybody that's adopted the app, which is free, by the way, and it's out there on any kind of device now. And we do it through our Facebook notifications, and the media sources we have sitting in between us, we would contact them as well.
So, hey, when you guys do the weather in the mornings, if there's a red flag, you guys mention that as well. You
Usually
think?
notify anytime there's a red flag warning, if it comes up in the morning or the afternoon, they decide. It goes in the news, Facebook, on the website, so we also are an avenue to be notified.
Steve, I don't know if you noticed, but last week when we had severe weather, our app automatically sent you an alert. We would have the similar situation if a red flag warning came up.
Okay, yeah, because I got the same thing from Walt as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anne Marie, is that something you guys can do as well? Making sure that people understand that there's a process,
I don't know how our Facebook functions. I know we can put an article online.
but you're writing a story, so that'll help. That's a good start there.
Yep, if there's a email that comes through, it can go online.
Okay. But as you write your story, you can kind of recap where we're at here with communication and
Encourage people.
red flag warnings.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great. That's a
And you
start.
know, people need to be aware that if you can't burn, if that red flag goes on and on, you can call the office, the FSA office, and they can give exceptions. Because I know one year, we had so much rain and rain and rain, and you can't burn water, and we could not burn it off. And they said, fine, we'll put that down, and we just want you to disc it as soon as it's dry enough. So there are exceptions, people don't have to panic. At least there was that year. That year, there was an exception, so we waited till the creek went down, and then we disked it.
Melanie?
Since the notification portion's been removed from this, is that something that can also be an education process? So when it's not a red flag warning, that people are getting notified to call dispatch? I don't know how you do that, through the app, through the Facebook and all of that. Because I know before there was a lot of discussion about some people always call. Chad said he always calls, but not everybody always calls or calls ever.
I think the
Or
whole
knows
purpose
that they
the
should.
whole purpose of the phone call before and after is because if you don't call and somebody sees a fire, we may get 10 calls on your field on fire.
We went and checked one the other night.
Yeah, and you're doing it on purpose,
Right.
And so we're sending fire departments to a fire that
Right.
that you've set on purpose. And the purpose for the second call is because if you call back and say the fire's done, and 3 hours later it reignites itself,
Right.
then we know, well, they canceled, so there must be something new. They haven't called back to say, hey, we lit a second one. So we send those. It's just for us to be able to send the appropriate units when they need to be sent.
So I think
I think if all parties involved communicate that
Yeah.
with their neighbors and with their friends and everything. Say, hey, call the sheriff's office, just let them know that you got a waterway burn or whatever. I think that will go a long way, and
It does.
in time, I think that will get the message
Maybe.
across.
maybe a sheriff's office video, like the grilling video,
It
was
would be
really
good.
good.
So, am I correct in assuming that these massive penalties are only applied during a red flag warning?
Yes, the way it reads.
Okay, that's the way I thought I read it. So,
Go down here. and
That's the
talk
common
about-
sense part. I think that's good.
Yeah.
I guess that's the question I had on it, is that, so you have your fire's out, it's under control, nothing, and an ember, and all of a sudden, 2 days later, the thing flares up again. If you did your call in and whatever, are you, at a normal time, are you, there's no obligation, and as long as you're not in a burn ban or a red flag, then you're okay.
Correct.
Seems logical.
Yeah.
Any other
Yeah, we
comments?
can't have.
Hearing none, entertain a motion to go out of public hearing. Second,
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are now out of public hearing.
Thanks for your comments.
We will be addressing this now with the readings of this burn ordinance. In the future, we'll get the date set, I think. I don't know if Joe has anything set for that or not, so we'll be working towards that. Next thing on our agenda is to approve a contract or actually it's a 28E agreement with the new London School District for school resource officer services. We've all had a chance to look over the 28E agreement, and
Yes, I think think you had a couple of questions though?
We do have, I believe we gotta find mine somewhere. First of all, I noticed, on the one that had the changes, not all the changes were made according to the dates. So,
Did I miss one?
Yeah, there
Or
was
did
something
they
in
miss
there that said
one?
24, 25.
under,
instead of
under
25,
Article
26,
7 talks about it. How could I lose it that fast?
Yeah, Article 7, duration and termination of agreement.
Oh, yeah.
So it should be 25, 26 versus what it says is 24, 25.
Absolutely, and it'd be, July of 25 as a begin time.
So, okay, so a couple changes there.
And you have the master copy? Mark, I think I gave it to you last
Well,
week.
the one I have is the one that had the changes on it.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
I had it here this morning, now I gotta find it in my pocket.
I have another copy if we needed a new
No,
copy.
we'll find it, so.
Do you have it, Rich?
Yes, right. Well, I don't have the original, I have a copy.
So the organizational structure is working for you.
Well, I showed it to you this morning, you can vouch for me on that one. Come on.
Did I keep it?
You might have, I don't know.
No.
I know last week when we talked about this, we had some concerns about the treasurer not receiving the invoices. She has them now from last year's contract.
Because that was under Article 6 that we talked about a little bit on that as well, so yeah. So she has a copy of those and she'll continue to
does.
do copies in the future, so.
Yeah, every month when we invoice
sync.
and receive the check, we'll get those to her monthly.
Okay. That's my writing.
All right.
Thank you. Did you say Article 6?
7, Article 7.
Well, 7 was
For
the
the
date.
change, yeah.
I think what we were talking about was financing and school resource programs, so I think that's part of Article 6, I believe. As we talk about second page, each party shall allow access for records, documents, papers, etc. You wanna read mine?
It says Patty, by the way, instead of party, which I
Yeah.
think is kind of humorous.
Well, whoever she is, she'll get those down.
I guess I'm the Patty today.
Unless you're Irish, then I guess it could be.
Well, I am.
Okay.
With those changes, I would entertain a motion to approve the contract / 28E agreement with Midland School District for a resource officer.
I make that motion to accept the 2080 agreement with the changes.
Because it has, is there a second?
Yeah, there's a second.
Because it has been looked by our council.
It has.
And everything is in good order there,
Approved as to legal form.
legal form, yeah.
Okay. From a discussion standpoint, I just had one question. Are we all in sync then on this rate of $50.22 per hour? Is that where we're at?
Correct.
That's where we came back to? Okay. All right.
Then to address the treasurer's concerns with dual invoices from the school, sent both to you and her, that way everybody's reading on the same page of paper. An invoice to
I'm
be
not
sent.
sure what you're speaking of. She wanted copies of the invoices and checks, which I gave her earlier this week for last year's contract.
Okay.
And we'll do that on a monthly basis moving forward.
Okay, whatever
Yes.
meets her needs.
Yeah,
and
we've,
everything that way.
I think we've rendered a solution to that, yeah.
Okay, excellent. And then the only other question I had obviously was, who's gonna submit this to the?
I will, my office will do that.
Okay,
Yep, guaranteed.
perfect. All
As
right,
part of our minutes, we'll reflect that.
Perfect.
that'd be good. Yeah,
Lacey will probably do it as soon as I get back to the office.
that'd be great. Sooner than later. Okay,
We have a motion and a second, any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
aye.
Aye. Opposed? None.
You wanna sign this copy?
Yeah, I'll sign that one.
Thanks, Rich.
Please and thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
Are you gonna put something on the agenda at some point to discuss Salem and the 2080 agreement with them?
Probably not until I meet with their public safety committee and start hashing out details, and then I'll probably come and just give you an update.
Okay,
If
that'd be
that's
great.
okay.
Yeah, so we're all in sync and.
Yeah,
we're
absolutely.
good. That'd be great.
There's something else just dropped from my mind. Apologize. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. I think I said this last week, but I wanna make sure that you guys understand. New London wants to do this earlier in the year. Did I talk about that last week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in March-ish, in the spring of sometimes, that way we have it done and signed and registered with the state before July 1, so.
I think that's fine as long as we're, got all the details and all the information and everything's straightforward and the attorneys are all good, so.
Okay, thanks you guys.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is subcommittees.
I have one at noon today with Great River Housing Trust in, at Southeast Iowa Regional at noon, so I'll head to that and have more of an update next week. That's the first time that we've gotten together in person this year, so everything else has been on Zoom.
As we saw the, Zoom presentation here, that, you know, kind of took care of my meeting there, so.
Okay.
I had none this week. Anyone? Public comment. Leland.
Yes, thank you. Now, keep in mind, I read the fine print and I'm addressing the board as a whole. Okay, so I want to thank you. Last week you drilled the sheriff about the SRO for New London, and I appreciate you being mindful about our tax dollars. But I will say, if it's not about the kids or the future generations, it doesn't matter. That's all that matters is the future. And you drilled me pretty hard about that outside counsel too. So anyhow, and I was thinking back, seemed like there's a lady from the health department came in here and asked for money. And you said, are you sure that's enough money? Well, if you need more, come back. You didn't question her. And then what about that $10,000 bonus for the P&Z guy a couple of years ago? Showed up like a 12.8% pay increase when everybody else got 4%. And you guys all said, no, we didn't give him a pay increase. And finally, yeah, well, we just gave him a one-time bonus. Did that bonus come off his salary before you gave him the next pay increase? And I don't think it did. I can't see that. So then, you know, it kind of looks to me like there's something personal going on between the sheriff and you guys. And if that's the case, I think we need to put it behind us, get it out of here. And then, I got this letter a few months ago about the IT guy, and I sent it around. I don't know why I got it. I don't know who sent it to me or anything. But has that been resolved? Do you know? Have you guys done anything with that? And I'll tell you, I heard a couple people talking about that just in the last few weeks. They think it's still going on. So I think that thing ought to be cleaned up. And I'm going to be brief because I know you guys all want to get the fair like I do, but do you guys know anything about cows? I can tell you, you can feed them in the bunk, turn around and walk away, got your back to them. If you don't shut the gate, the old boss cow, she's out of there headed for the cornfield. And if you don't get her back in, the whole herd's in the cornfield. And I think we need to corral our government. Need to padlock the gate on our government. I control that. Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Anybody else? Bob?
The only thing I got I'd like to address is public safety. Down on Racine Avenue, south of our place, where 220th and Racine get together. Looking to the north, it's bad. You can't hardly see because of all the brush in the ditches. And you gotta be halfway out before you can actually see north going down. So I'd like to have that brush and stuff addressed. And there's a lot of deer crossing right there.
There is.
Yeah.
A lot of deer crossing there.
You know where he's talking about, Rich?
I do, yep.
Jerry Moore's residence.
Winfield Avenue to the T.
Okay. And that's something we need
When
to
you
do.
turn to go north, it's really, I was just through there yesterday and it's really hard to, I didn't stop, sorry. It's really hard to see northbound if you're facing east, getting ready to turn either way.
Have you said anything to Jake, or we can mention it?
I mentioned it to him earlier this spring, and they did come out and sprayed a little bit, but that whole line going up North Star property line's getting real heavy with brush.
I realize we can't do anything about the fence row, that's not the county's responsibility, but the trees that are growing in the ditches are really getting up there.
Down by the New London Country Club, I spoke to him earlier this
Oh, yeah,
year.
that's wonderful.
And that's wonderful, they went down there, cause
Yeah.
New London Country Club, that draw right in through there, a lot of dead deer laying there.
Yes.
But now it's good.
And now they mowed everything back and took down all the brush and everything out of the bar pit, so now you can see.
I will say the road department, I even saw them this morning again, they're out mowing a lot. They got the, I don't know what you call it, but it's a brush mower on on an arm. They had it out, sorry, I didn't mean to put my hand in your face. They had it out this morning at 7:30, 8 o'clock, I saw them just south of town, so they've been working on it a lot.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Hearing none, motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are now adjourned. Thank you all.
Rich,
Yes, ma'am.
part of that, when we were getting those storm warnings the other day,
Uh-huh.
came through my phone as spam.
Really?
Yeah, for some reason it comes through as legit spam.
That's interesting.